Hi, my name's Paul and I'm a librarian at Western Sydney University Library. What do you think critical thinking means? Throughout your professional and personal lives, you will have to make critical decisions which will affect your success. There are many different definitions of critical thinking. Common themes are critical thinking will solve problems and seek truth. It's about looking at something from different perspectives. Employers now rate critical thinking as one of the most important skills to improve their business. Employers are now looking for critical thinkers as it helps with problem solving, creativity, making decisions, and strategically develop the enterprise. So how do you think critically? Basically, you need to look at an issue, problem, concept, or product from many different angles. That might mean doing some research, thinking about the information you find, asking questions, talking to different people, and getting information about different viewpoints. When you get an assignment that requires you to demonstrate critical thinking, you need to show that you have looked at the issue or problem from all sides. We recently spoke to John Cafferata from the Darcy Street Project, a social enterprise in Parramatta aimed at lifting youth employment rates. The Darcy Street Project will shortly be launching a new solar-powered coffee car in the centre of Parramatta. This new innovation and its success will depend on analysing critically a number of factors. How would you use critical thinking skills to manage this project scenario? You might start by identifying the who, what, when, where, whys, and how of the project. Some questions you could ask include the following. Who will benefit from this project? Who are the key stakeholders? When will it launch? Where is the best location for the coffee cart? Why do you want to use solar power? What are the benefits? Are there any drawbacks? How will the coffee cart be stored? How big do you need the coffee cart to be? To answer your questions, you'll have to do some research. This might include looking at relevant statistics, for example, unemployment, area demographics, turnover of local businesses, financial information about similar social enterprises and other companies in the sector, industry information for hospitality sector theories that underpin practice, for example, best practice in coffee making and coffee cart design. Here is what John from the Darcy Street Project told us about some of the critical thinking factors he has had to consider. All right, welcome John, and thanks for joining us at Western Sydney University. And we'll jump straight in the questions. Can you briefly give us an overview and explain the aims of the Darcy Street Project?
Some of our aims is to create a social enterprise that engages the community through coffee culture. So a lot of what we do is just engaging grassroots organisations, train them, I guess, in employability skills, but also give them a pathway to education and employment.
And can you tell us a little bit about your newest venture, which is to set up the solar-powered coffee cart?
It's been quite a challenging project because we haven't dealt with, I guess, solar power or, I guess, connecting it with a mobile coffee kind of outlet. Some of the things that we sort of came across with implementing such a project is looking at ways of reducing our consumption in power, how we manage what power we need to use, and some of the things like even just boiling water is just takes a large amount of energy. So yeah, a lot of the sort of critical thinking is around power consumption, but also, the basics of security, moving at different locations. Can anyone do it? So I guess the good thing with the solar powered cart is it's also a bicycle, so has an electric motor in it that can help assist with going up hills. So that's been quite fun.
With regards to the coffee cart, what are some of the things you had to consider when you were planning putting it all together?
A lot of it is, I guess, looking at energies, powers, which are really quite critical, and as well as that, we're looking at space, if there's enough sort of workflow, and then going back to sort of the security of the cart where it's stored is really quite important. And I guess also looking at how we can use the cart for social good. So having students on there to practice and gain certain levels of work experience is really important for us.
How important is critical thinking, do you think, for your students at the Darcy Street Project?
Everything is based around critical thinking and innovation. In a time where you have so much technology and a lot of things to consider, for us, critical thinking is, we always are constantly analysing and challenging the process, looking at ways of, finding sources of information and sort of making sure that that fits within what we're trying to achieve. And that puts us in a good position to form good judgment in terms of making choices, because our social enterprise is self-funded, so we don't have a big financier to sort of allow mistakes or sort of testing. So for us, testing has to be really done based on a lot of parameters. For us, it could be setting up little social franchises in other areas of regional Australia, but for now we're going to work in sort of suburban areas to test it and see if that can be transferable in, you know, other areas.
Okay, thanks, John. That's exciting. So look forward to seeing
Great.
what happens in the future. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for joining us at Western Sydney. The goal of critical thinking is to look at an issue, problem, concept or product from all possible angles. Once you've done some of this work, you can start to make recommendations or formulate a plan. For more information, visit the library website, speak to our online librarian, or come in and talk to a friendly expert member of the library staff. Thanks, and all the best for your assignments.